Ever wonder about the president who became a giant of American history, almost by accident? Let's dive into the fascinating life of Lyndon B. Johnson, a man of immense ambition, towering contradictions, and a legacy that still shapes America today. Born in a small farmhouse in the Texas Hill Country, LBJ's journey to the White House was anything but ordinary. He wasn't born into wealth or privilege. His early life was marked by the rugged, often harsh, realities of rural Texas. This upbringing instilled in him a deep-seated empathy for the poor and a relentless drive to succeed. He started his career as a teacher for impoverished Mexican-American children, an experience he said shaped his entire political philosophy. He saw firsthand how poverty could crush potential, and it lit a fire in him to fight for social justice. His political rise was meteoric. He arrived in Washington, D.C. as a young congressional aide and quickly learned the intricate dance of power. As a congressman, senator, and eventually Senate Majority Leader, LBJ became known as the master of the Senate. He was a force of nature, intimidating, persuasive, and incredibly effective. He perfected what became known as the Johnson treatment, a legendary mix of flattery, folksy charm, and sheer physical intimidation to get his way. He'd get right up in another politician's personal space, towering over them, talking, cajoling, and persuading until they agreed with him. It was a sight to behold and a key to his legislative success. Then, on a dark day in November 1963, everything changed. Following the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, Lyndon Johnson was sworn in as the 36th President of the United States aboard Air Force One. The iconic photo captures a stunned Johnson taking the oath of office, next to a grief-stricken Jacqueline Kennedy, thrust into the presidency under the most tragic circumstances imaginable. He faced the monumental task of healing a grieving nation, and he didn't just heal it. He aimed to transform it, wasting no time. Johnson used his political genius and the nation's desire for action to launch his ambitious Great Society program. This was one of the most sweeping sets of social reforms in American history. He declared a war on poverty and pushed through landmark legislation. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965 were monumental achievements, dismantling legal segregation and securing voting rights for African Americans. He also created Medicare and Medicaid, providing health care for the elderly and the poor, and poured federal funds into education and environmental protection. For a brief moment, it seemed like anything was possible, but a shadow loomed over his domestic triumphs: the Vietnam War. What began as a small advisory role under Kennedy escalated dramatically under Johnson. He became convinced that America had to stop the spread of communism in Southeast Asia, and he steadily increased the number of U.S. troops. The war became a quagmire, deeply dividing the country and fueling a massive anti-war movement. The same president who fought for justice at home found himself defending a brutal, seemingly endless conflict abroad. The nightly news brought the horrors of the war into American living rooms, and Johnson's popularity plummeted. The weight of Vietnam crushed him. The man who had achieved so much for civil rights and social welfare became one of the most reviled figures in the country. In a shocking television address in March 1968, a weary and beleaguered LBJ announced he would not seek, nor would he accept, the nomination of his party for another term as president. It was a stunning end to a political career defined by unstoppable ambition. He returned to his beloved Texas ranch, where he passed away just 4 years later. Lyndon B. Johnson remains one of history's most complex figures, a champion of the poor who led the nation into a devastating war, a Southern politician who became the greatest civil rights president. His legacy is a powerful reminder that history is rarely simple, and that even the most formidable leaders are a mixture of light and shadow. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history. See you next time.